ocean, step on the stone, push becomes water, wood becomes gold, walk on the ocean.
Hi guys, this is Kate with Songwriters Vantage. We're here at Michael Blue's studio today. Really excited to be sitting with singer-songwriter, artist extraordinaire, Glen Phillips. You may know him as the lead singer-songwriter for Toad the Wet Sprocket, that little band that only had a large number of hit songs. And we really appreciate you sitting with us today, Glen.
Thank you. Being on the majors was not
The cool thing to
not
do.
an okay thing to do. And it was this period where college music was kind of moving into,
Right.
you know, everybody was so concerned about selling out.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
hyper concerned about feeling like they were selling themselves. And I think what we didn't realize was that a lot of the bands that we thought weren't concerned with marketing were actually really good at marketing themselves in a way that felt like they weren't concerned with marketing.
And then when Sony picked you up, and then Fear
Mm-hmm.
was the start of your mainstream success and
Yeah.
your radio hits. We had Walk on the Ocean, All I Want from that record,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those two little songs. Walk on the Ocean being one of my favorite songs of all time, still to this day.
My plan was to go and get a teaching credential, and then you don't turn down a record company. At 18, you don't turn down a
Right.
record deal. I mean,
Right.
we had a lot of, we had, dinner with David Geffen, and we, it was like David and Geffen and Gary Gersh were after us, and, with John Mayer, it was that there were, everybody was going, no male singer-songwriters, male singer-songwriters won't ever have a hit, and John Mayer started to take off and everybody followed.
Mm-hmm.
It would be anywhere from him having a chord progression and me writing the melody and everything, to him having a melody and me writing the lyrics, to me adding a bridge. It just always kind of depended what it needed. And there were a couple songs where he had, he would usually kind of sing, and there were a lot of lyrics that I wrote simply trying to rhyme something to the his nonsense lyric.
Oh, interesting.
Because he would have sounds that felt good on the melody, and I would get very attached to those sounds, and I would have to actually figure out words that felt like they meant something that would match his sounds.
Love it.
But something's always wrong. He had that one line. He had something's always wrong.
And
It
you
was
went
all
from there.
garbled. Yeah, it was all garbled nonsense plus something's always wrong. I'm like,
But that cool guitar hook in there. though.
yeah, and I kept those two parts that he brought in and kind of wrote the lyric around that. And if you listen at a songwriting level, for instance, to Toad stuff, the songwriting is all over the map. I mean, it'll go from weird, like Nancy is this weird chromatic country song, really silly songs, to these serious, heavy, riffy songs. And the thing about a band is they all end up feeling cohesive.
Right.
There's a way that the rhythm section ties it together, the way the voices tie it together, the way all our habits, and we weren't like we weren't the kind of band who could do a lot of role playing, meaning...
You were what you were.
We were what we were. We weren't great enough. We could only play like we played. And so that meant no matter how out there the songs were, it always sounded like us. And on my solo stuff, I mean, that's where I noticed the absence of the band more than anything. Is I didn't know what I sounded like. If you want to be in the TV shows, you got to be playing at Hotel Cafe. You got to, you got to play the right clubs at the right times, associate with the right people, be friendly, hang out, be gregarious. I mean, that it's a social game. And
That's a little job in itself.
it's a big job. It's a huge job.
Yeah.
And you also have to be good.
Right.
But the people who are doing that are comfortable there.
Yeah.
They want to be in LA. They like going out and talking. They like being social in that way. They're not afraid to sell themselves. And for that personality, this is a great time because you can be in the big city and you can be getting placements. Or if you're in a band and you're wanting to, you're talking about splitting the publishing, you want to be clear on who does what in the band.
Yes.
I mean, I would recommend holding on to your writer's share, but, publishing is maybe a band thing. And if you're contributing the songs, it's figuring out in a band who's the web designer, who's the graphic guy, who's the video guy.
Interesting.
Who's the one who's really going to keep up on blogs when everybody else is exhausted? Like, who is going to do the extra work. Like, if you're there writing songs and you're taking all that time and all those hours with which the band wouldn't get ahead, thinking of it in business terms, you need to think of these other things, which are also all creative and
Right.
also a lot of fun.
But you don't get paid for sitting there.
But you don't get paid for those either, and so that's where you can really discuss. We're
like
gonna
it.
all contribute something extra. I'm not gonna write the songs and split it with you guys so you guys can go out and drink.
Right.
We're all doing something more, so everybody's
Right.
got to bring something into the band.